No free advertising here at Staggered Stance. Not usually. Sometimes it happens. But anybody recognize our intro music from the recent Disc Golf Pro Tour streams? DGN, hello? Are you there? It's Zuka. Hello? Are you there? This is multiple times that Zuka has used our intro music. And it's not fair for me to say ours. I mean, I feel like we had it first. It is like licensed, but like anybody can license it. So I don't know. Maybe we have fans. Zuka, if you're out there and you're listening, this was not free advertising, but it was. And now we're talking about you. Good job.
Hey, well, maybe they're subversively talking about us. So, you know,
maybe.
I think they're fans.
Get Zuka carts up here somewhere on the screen, or we know everyone loves, or a lot of people love Zuka carts. Okay, so this is episode 191. We did have a week off.
That's right.
So it feels like a lot longer. It feels like we're out of the game. Nick is not here right now. Something about a cow breaking a fence?
He's going to have to tell us. Yeah, cows. Nick is chasing
the zoning
cows.
laws. They're changing.
Evan's here. Ben's here. Josh is here. And we got to say thank you to Disc Golf 978. We don't have to say thank you. I think it's just the polite thing to do. Disc Golf 978, always, in a good way, bringing the heat. You go to these tournaments where they're at, and you learn that every other tournament is lacking if they're not there. And so you decide to only play tournaments where Disc Golf 978 is. You can choose to play others, but you're going to notice it. You're going to notice they're not there. They're cool trailer pro shop that gets popped out with all the LCD TVs. It's a full tournament central. So very cool what they do there. But besides that, Meadowbrook Orchards is now their new home. You can visit them there, just about 25 minutes north of Maple Hill. If you fly out for Maple Hill, you're going to ask what other courses can I play as well while I'm out there. You have to visit there. Say hi, 978. Say you heard on Staggered Stance and you wanted to check out Meadowbrook. It's all going to be worth your time for sure. Get the best prices on disc, all your disc golf needs. Disc Golf 978, free shipping over $25. Player packs and payouts, I think 25% off if you use them. I'm telling you, it's a full win. We've talked about them a lot. So I'll wrap it up and just say use the code WeLove978. Let them know that you listen to us and that you appreciate what they're doing. Guys, I am not streamed out per se, but throughout DGN with Portland Open, Simon did what's like a Simon cast, which was like a companion stream with Simon. And so we streamed 4 hours plus or whatever on day one, and then 4 hours or so on day two. That's 8 hours of streaming. That outdoes 2 weeks of us streaming here. So here I am ready to relax. I got a lot going on, but I'm going to pass it over to Evan to kind of tell us what's up. You guys can react. Ben, Josh, I'll probably react a little bit to it. There's a lot. We got Paige Pierce lined up. We've got Sophia Don. I think that's how you say it. Donachie. We'll go that way. And Ganon Burr. That is a solid lineup, guys. Incredible things happening. Can't wait to hear from them, so stick around. But other than that, Evan, we know it was 4 rounds, but what else do we want to know about it?
Yeah, it was 4 rounds at the beautiful Glendevere golf course. I don't quite, that's got to be the name of the golf course, but we know it as Glendevere East and West, the 2 courses that make up the 4-round DGPT Plus event, the Portland Open, the 5th year of it running. So it has become a staple of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and the wonderful crowd up in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, it was, they're iconic for the rainy weather. I might dispute that a little bit if they're the rainiest place in America, but it was rainy and those fans showed up and it was a ton of fun to watch and the course was beautiful and we watched some great disc golf. Matt, you teased it with what the guests are coming, but we all know that Paige Pierce and Ganon Burr come down with the victory. Paige Pierce gets her first win in 382 days. That's over a year. If you need help with the number of days in a year, her last win was 2023 OTB Open. So quite a ways for her. She is finally back. You know what it meant to her. If you listen to the post round interview, and if you didn't, or if you did, it's going to be interesting to see what she says later on today and how much this win really meant for her to show the world that she is back and capable of playing disc golf at such a high level again. She finished top 5 just a few weeks ago at the OTB Open, the last start she made on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And just getting ahead a little bit, Beaver State Fling's coming this weekend, and she's not registered for this event. I think that was pre-planned with her schedule, so maybe we'll ask her about that. And if you're planning on seeing her repeat, we'll have to wait a few more weeks for the next event. She moves up to 7th place in the Statmando Power Rankings. That's the first time she's been top 10 all year. I think that's really interesting, showing that she is, finally back playing at such a high level. And her driving stats, as you'd expect with disc golf, driving stats are what lead you to victory. And she was 86% fairway, 44% C1 in regulation, and 74% C2 in regulation. Those are monster numbers. And she definitely showed up. People will question whether, Kristen Tatar is not in the field. Evelina Salonen, Henna Blomroos, I'm sure a few other names were not in this field. And how would Paige Pierce do stacked up against those great players, which is, a fair question, but I think it's worth noting. Paige Pierce wins with a 995 unofficial rating. Any of you guys want to take a guess of what Kristen Tatar's event rating was last year at her Portland Open victory in 2023?
I mean, only because you said that, 995. I have no idea.
You're close, Josh. I'll leave it at that and make you guys stop guessing. 994.
Oh.
So just one away. We'll see. This is an unofficial rating. We'll see how it falls. But
That'll do, my friends.
That'll do, my friends, and get you the victory with last year's ratings included. I thought that was an interesting note, just to at least throw it out there. This is Paige Pierce's 3rd Portland Open victory. She won in 2019 and 2021 as well. 2019 was held only at the Blue Lake Disc Golf Course, and then 2021 was only at the original Glendevere layout. So it was 18 hole or one course at Glendevere, and not the East and the West that we see today. So now she's won in a kind of 3rd iteration of this event. Holland Hanley finishes 2nd place. She's been on fire all this year, looking for her first, Elite Series win. She won Throw Pink last year in dramatic fashion, and then really trying to get on the the winner's circle this year. But she's playing absolutely incredible. It's now her 7th straight top 10 finish, and her only missed top 10 on the entire season was a 16th place at the Open at Austin. And then Sophia Donake, we'll figure out exactly how to pronounce it. I heard it a few different ways this weekend, including you, Matt, in the intro, saying it a few different ways. We'll find out. But she finishes 3rd place in only her 2nd Disc Golf Pro Tour event. That is incredible. That's something we don't hear about much at all anymore in this new age of disc golf. And she's the first Canadian to podium at a Disc Golf Pro Tour event, which, yes, I know people have been questioning this stat, but it is indeed true. It's just about the wording of how you describe the levels. The Disc Golf Pro Tour, what they call as a DGPT event, is the Elite Series events, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, Disc Golf Pro Tour Plus, playoffs, all those are DGPT events. Disc Golf Pro Tour Silvers are not DGPT events. They're DGPT Silver events. So just want to be clear there. I know people are stoked that Chantel Budinsky won the Silver event last year, but that is not, by technical standards, a DGPT event. Although I get that could be confusing, but that is how it goes, and I think it makes a really great stat. So, Josh, I want to throw it over to you. Paige Pierce, back in the winner's circle. She looked fantastic this week. What do you make of it?
I mean, yeah, she looked great. I'm looking forward to talking with her just a little bit later this evening because, as you mentioned, there's she's already made some comments, but just interesting insights about this journey. In some ways, it feels like it's been so much longer, but I think she was only injured like less than a year ago. So when I actually look at that and think about the recovery that she's had to go through, like, maybe it depends on your perspective, but I feel like that's like really fast. But at the same time, it feels like it's been forever. I feel like we've been in a new era of disc golf, but Paige Pierce is still here and she hasn't left except for recovering from an injury. So it was awesome to see. My son was like, hey, so Paige won. He's like, I assume, does that mean like Paul, is going to win? Like, in other words, it hasn't been that long, but it kind of feels like it's a name from a prior era, but that's not true. So anyway, it's interesting to think about.
Yeah. Ben, I want to hear your thoughts on this FPO podium, both Paige Pierce or Sophia Donake. What did you see?
What I saw, obviously great for Paige Pierce to come back from injury. She's been struggling, and it's just a huge brush off her shoulder. I don't even know how to explain it, where just a huge weight off her shoulders is what I'm trying to say. Finally getting the win. I'm sure it was a struggle after falling and breaking her leg like that, and it's honestly amazing to see. It's really cool to see Paige Pierce come back out on top. As for Sophia, I mean, Stat Mando, shout out Stat Mando, cool stats. Her first Elite Series, she came in 14th at the OTB Open, and then doing a podium at the Portland Open. I mean, it's pretty unheard of where someone new on the scene is just cashing on their first event and then podium on their second Pro Tour event. And I'm excited to learn more about her as we interview her.
Do you have a stat? Why am I saying Simon?
Oh.
I was talking to Simon all weekend. Do you have a stat that says her highest, like, did she play a lead card? I feel like she did, right?
Oh, yes. She was the highest PDGA number to make a lead card. I'm pretty sure any
But
round
prior to
lead
this
card.
event, or no?
No. She earned her first lead card appearance at this event.
Okay.
At a major or elite series event, to be clear. I'm sure she's made lead cards at other events. She has numerous wins. I think she has 3 A-tier wins.
Okay.
I'll double check in a second. But she decorated on the I would say local level to British Columbia, Oregon, Washington, and then now showing up at the elite series level, which is pretty incredible.
I'm pretty sure one of my sons was like, "Dad, I have a lower number than Sophia." Like, it's the way it is now, boys.
Yeah, I think we all on this show do, which, Ben and I both signed up late and are in the 100,000s, later than you, I should say, not late in the grand context of disc golf. But a higher number. I mean, same with like Ella Hansen, I think, has a higher number than me. It's kind of wild. Holland Hanley. So cool to see, and see other players have such a rise that I don't quite.
If only it meant that the lower you are, the better you are, just like the golf score. But no, nothing like that.
Not quite. Just a quick few notes on Sophia Donike's record or history. Her worst finish of her career is 33rd at Throw Pink last year, and that's not to dwell on that, but that 33rd is the worst that she's finished. Her second worst finish of her career of all PDG events is that 14th at OTB Open just a few weeks ago. Like, if you look at all the numbers, if you exclude the major and elite series and Throw Pink, it's all top 10s. It's all a handful of wins. She finished 10th at the Cascade Challenge the week before this, which was a Q series for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. It really decorated, and it's so cool to see this rise. I mean, Emily Weatherman's also been a name that's really surprising us, and last year we had so many. We have so many from Europe. It's cool to see that these stories still happen, that we still see players who we didn't hear of just all of a sudden put up a amazing show, and she was pushing for the win too. It's not like she just came up and got a podium out of nowhere. It's like, no, she was right up there with Paige Pierce, Holland Hanley, fighting with them, and then ultimately Paige Pierce just came out as the victor. So really incredible. Let's move on at MPO and talk about Ganon Burr getting a monster victory. He was leading by 10 strokes going into the final round, ultimately wins by 8 strokes, which is the largest MPO major or elite series margin of victory since Eagle McMahon did it by 8 strokes as well, the 2021 Las Vegas Challenge. If you remember that really feels like the last runaway victory maybe. I think there's been a few other handful, like a 4-stroke win that the back 9 felt pretty confident, but this one was about halfway through the third round, we're like, this might be over and Sunday might be boring. Ganon Burr at least made it a little bit interesting. Cole Radallen and Ricky Wysocki grabbed a few strokes on him. You're like, if Ganon completely blows up in 3 putts and 4 straight holes, maybe it's gone. But it felt like a pretty decisive victory the entire final round. The largest Disc Golf Pro Tour victory on the MPO side in history is 12 strokes by Macbeth at the 2016 Ledgestone. So Burr was not all that far away from getting that title. So really great win for Ganon Burr. He's on a monster stretch. He's now he's still number 1 in Disc Golf Pro Tour points. He was prior to the season and now has over 100-point lead. And what yesterday felt like Anthony Brella being the clear number 1 player on the season in MPO. Now it felt like maybe the tide was turning and it's Calvin Heimberg. Now it might be Ganon Burr. We'll leave that for a discussion for maybe later in the show or another time. But moving on to second place, Cole Radallen, native to Oregon, Washington, I think Oregon, gets his 6th podium of his career at a major elite series event. And then Richard Wysocki gets a 3rd place. I was looking through his results as of late because he feels like he's been sneakily very good, hasn't gotten a win this year. The last time he missed the top 20 out of any event was a DNF at the 2023 Open at Austin. which of course, he was dealing with his wrist Lyme flare up and was way out of the running by the time he DNF'd. But still, like, that was his last top 20, his only, missed top 20. And that was his only missed top 20 of all last season. The last one before that, you have to go back to 2022 True Bank Des Moines Challenge. So really incredible run for Wysocki. Although he hasn't gotten the win, he feels like he's right up there with the other best players in the world. So Matt, I know you were watching along with the Simon cast. You're also a Ganon Burr fan. What do you think of this monster victory? What do you see in Ganon Burr getting this win?
Well, first of all, Ganon Burr.
Ganon Burr.
It's been a while.
I had some DMs.
I don't know if we did it this season.
No.
Shout out to all of our fans who remember that. But Ganon Burr, I just talked to him before the show, trying to line this up. The kid is like, he's on a different level in a lot of ways. He came up in it as a youngster. He's super smart. I don't know how much more I can say. Every time I talk about him, that's what I say. Disc intelligence. I think it was announced live. Who was it? It might have been Simon, actually, during this, because we didn't listen to commentary during the companion stream. But Simon said something along the lines of like, no hiccup, no speed bump or anything for him to change discs. And I wasn't doing a lot of talking, believe it or not. I was trying to let Simon lead that show. But my thought immediately was, this kid knew all disc flights from all manufacturers while he was with Prodigy. Like, his hobby was understanding discs, flights, strategy. When you can motivate all your time to doing that, and then you've got, I don't know if the build is good. He talks about it, big lanky arms, all that, like it can be tougher, but like, you have his build, you have his mindset, he plays strategies really high. I'm very impressed. Now, I'm going to toot my own horn. I think, Josh, it was probably DGN Pro Talk or whatever we had 3 years ago on DGN, 4 years ago. I said I expect to see multiple world titles out of him. I don't know if that's the case, but things are shaping up. That's my take.
Well, we haven't seen one yet, but I'm not calling you wrong.
Still my take.
Is he 19 yet? No, he's still 18,
no,
right?
Yeah.
It's incredible. But Ben, I'm going to pick on you one more time. And this is a little bit picking on you. I don't quite mean it this way, but I do want your insight. But Ganon Burr notably has been struggling with, I don't want to say struggling with putting, but, has had some spit outs in the round and then struggling maybe with confidence around that and dealing with getting spit outs. I know you like to think about the mentality. I almost called you Ganon, but Ben, I forgot your name for a second.
Compliment.
All I could think is Ganon. So I know that will
Thank
make
you.
your world.
Thank
I
you
wish
so
we could
much.
see you on screen right now and see their reaction. But like, what do you take out of Ganon Burr? Like sticking through the mental battle and spit outs or not, like he was on it and didn't let go. So I want to hear your thoughts.
Here's my take on the mental battle. When you are a world-class athlete in putting like Ganon, I think it's probably a little easier than someone like me to get over it because you know how good you are and how much of a dog you can be. So I think it probably sucked and he probably was getting in his head a little bit about putting too hard, but at the end of the day, he knows how good he is. He's put in the work, and it's shown time and time again that I think that, he just stuck to his game plan and knew that the putts would start falling in. The craziest part, I don't know if you mentioned this, but the craziest part is that his score after round 3 would have beaten the whole entire field in 4 rounds, which was like, it was a cakewalk. So I think he had all the confidence in the world, even with that little putting laps and stuff like that. But I think it was pretty easy for him to overcome, as you can tell by the landslide victory.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. Good stat. He was 29 down through 3 rounds, and Cole Redulin, the second best player in the field, was 25 down, 4 strokes back at that score. The MPO was pretty cold in that final round, where it was not the best weather. Just a wet, soggy,
they were
rainy
really
day.
cold.
But they still just weren't. FPO, although they had a little bit lighter rain to start, but it was still rainy, and they were looking fine. So I don't know, interesting there. Last episode after OTB Open, went through the top 10, and saw some interesting notes. I think this one's the opposite, and I'll do this real quick before we hit Pop Drop Lock recap. But I just want to go through the top 10 and kind of see the difference on like these type of names, maybe compared to the OTB Open. We have Ganon Burr, who wins, then Cole Redolin, Richard Wysocki, Aaron Gossage, Isaac Robinson, Calvin Heimberg, Paul Macbeth, Andrew Marweed, Nicholas Antala, Luke Taylor, Paul Ulibarri, and Ben Calloway, and Eagle McMahon. Holy, there's a huge tie for 10th. Corey Ellis, Cal Klein. That's a 5-way tie for 10th. So more names than I expected. But those names, like to me, it shouts out. Like besides Luke Taylor, who's a fantastic player, was in the running for the rookie of the year last year, won it for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I forget exactly. All those players have either won numerous events, or been right up in there to win an event. So it feels like this is like cream rose to the top like crazy at this event in different skill sets. I mean, you have, Woods players like Isaac Robinson, not that he can't play on the Open and win at courses, we know that, but Andrew Marweed, Paul Ulibarri, even Corey Ellis, like those guys are up here, have had good finishes at Portland in past, like Isaac Robinson and Corey Ellis, of course. But then you have your monster throwers, you have your big air throwers. Like you had kind of all your types of best players really showed up and finished top 10 there. So that was any last kind of note I had. If anyone else wants to say anything before we go into Pop Drop Lock, I'll leave it at that.
I'm just gonna beg Gannon not to make it so boring at future events.
He knows.
Second and third. There was still actually some good competition if you could sit there and watch it, right? Like there was good golf to be had, but like we all want to see a tight first place, and it was just like, come on. It's still a fine story. Like I'm being a little bit selfish, but really, right? Like, come on.
Every time like he gets asked about this, he's like, I know. He's like, bruh. He's like, people don't like it. It's not as exciting, bruh. I'm like, I know.
No, here's the thing though. Like it could, if he can go do that, like every event, then it will be boring, but then it becomes a story. Yeah. So like you got to keep the pedal to the metal. But for us, it's like, give me something.
Yeah. Anyway. As we transition through to the next segment, we don't always do this, but someone just asked for a shout out to their daughter, Sophie, or at least they did a question mark. Oh, can we shout her out? I'm like, Sophie, not the name. So Sophie, if you're here, and the shout out to you, she just won a B tier. Now she's 4 years old. I know she knows her name. She can throw disc golf. So if she's listening to the show, we're happy about that. But
that's incredible.
Yeah. So she listens to us ramble on, and she goes out and wins B tiers. Congratulations, Sophie. Okay.
In the FBO field, by the way.
Yeah, but
oh, did you look it up?
No, I'm just kidding.
4 years old, FBO.
It's an accomplishment finishing a tournament at 4 years old.
As we know.
So congrats.
Yeah, doing a lot with the kids' disc golf back in the day. All right, let's get into the review of points for Pop Drop Lock. Let's see how this plays out. Thanks to Hooligan for sponsoring the segment.
Hooly, baby.
Let's see if the audio kicks off or if I fixed it.
Pop Drop.
I fixed it. Okay. We're going to do the points review. All right, we're doing the points review. We're not revealing our picks yet, and because we don't want to. And I don't know. We'll do it later.
Not that time yet.
Not that time yet. And I'm going to do my best to recall the order here of the order of how players came out. So I'm pretty sure we're going Nick. That's right. Here we go. We all know Nick's not here right now to defend himself on this, but there it is. 6 points.
Yeah, but with you get 6 points, ouch.
I've
been there. I think I had.
It is getting tougher, and if you had to make picks, which you all should have for Beaver State, it's getting tough.
This is the first event where I'm like, okay, I really don't know what to pick.
It feels like everybody could be a pop or a drop in some way. All right, here we go. I believe I'm next. Is that correct? Yes, I think it's correct. Here we go. 33 points. I'll take it. I'll just reveal one of them. Carter Aarons. I picked him to pop.
You did a good job.
He popped almost 20.
It's a good job.
I'll just leave it at that. The rest are, bad choices or just washes. All right, here we go. Next.
By the way, Nick picked him to pop too. Like I don't know what the
Nick
odds
and
are
I pick almost every
OC.
single time exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, Nick did something different. I don't know what.
Yeah. There you go.
Not that.
Okay. And then next up, if I'm not mistaken, is Ben.
Yes.
Here we go. 60 points.
Good showing, Ben.
Thank you.
Drew Gibson bringing it home for you.
Chat, if you played chat, let us know what your points were. Oh, someone said they may have gotten 133rd place. We have a longtime listener of the show Shout out to Cece and Ben out in Wisconsin.
Yeets.
I think actually maybe Michigan now. If I remember that, I'm impressed with myself. But I met up with them out in Wisconsin once. They've played this show since the beginning. He got second place out of everybody this week. Like, that's rare. I don't think I've even gotten second. So
No.
he picked Luke Taylor to pop. So shout out to him.
Nice.
All right, next up is going to Evan. Now this is a little crazy to me because you pick your drops as others' pops. We'll talk about
Not
that.
mine. It's a new leaf.
Yep. Well, we didn't have a show last week.
Right.
Celebrating Memorial Day. I texted Ben repeatedly. Hey, Ben, tell me your pops. Tell me
There's
your
no
pops. We're getting
chance.
close. We're getting close to the tournament start, and I'm just left on red. I got nothing. So Matt hooked me up. He gave me his pops, and so I put in Matt's pops this week, which, again, he mentioned Carter Aarons.
Last time you texted me was April 11th.
Oh,
I
it
was in the group
text.
chat, Ben. Come on. Amateur hour here. But yeah, Carter Aarons got a big hit there. Nice pick, Matt. But persevere through, and thanks to a lock and pop combo from Paige Pierce, worked out great. Paige is back. Let's go. That got me a lot of points, so I appreciate it.
No, wait. I'm reading it right now. I literally said MPO Pop Drew,
You
FPO
did.
Pop Walker. I'll be around.
did,
Did you
but it
guess
was-
it right, Evan?
I think it was after the submission because I had
No,
already
it was
provided.
Wednesday at 2:16.
Well, what you don't know
Oh, shoot.
is
All right.
hold on.
Check.
Yes.
But what you don't know is I provided it to Evan privately in a text because I didn't want anybody to see my picks. So he already submitted once I
That's
responded.
probably what it was.
So
Already submitted.
There is
That was
a
long
little
gone.
loophole. There is. Evan could have unpicked everything and unsubmitted.
Because I
but-
did give him my pops.
All right.
Okay, well, I was ragging on Ben, so I take back the ragging
It's-
on Ben. I appreciate the facts. Thanks for proving me wrong. But I did go with Matt's pops
Every
in my drops
week,
this week.
there's controversy. I love it.
Rules are rules, Ben.
Rules
right?
are rules.
Yep.
Well, you didn't follow the rules.
All right, well, let's see who
Rules,
came
that's
in
my
first
choice.
place. Let's see
Here
who
we go.
came
Who's in
first.
first place? Josh,
Finally.
90.
I don't know if I've done that yet.
90
Yeah, Josh.
points. Way to go. What were your shining stars? Evan had Paige Pierce popping and locking.
I mean, well, I had Pierce popping, and I had Macbeth popping, and I had James Conrad dropping, which gave me 38.
That last one, the James Conrad
James
dropping.
Conrad.
I know.
38, 37, 38 points.
Yeah, 38 points for me. So Macbeth 25 points,
James.
Wysocki 10 points, Pierce 19 points, Ella Hansen 5 points. Lisa Fakis gave me -7.
So
She played well.
She played.
I'm
very
not
Anyway.
saying this because Paige can hear me in the green room if she can. Can you hear us, Paige? Yeah, maybe. Yeah? Okay, cool. Awesome. But Nick and I both, and this doesn't count, but we were both like, we want to pick Paige to pop and lock.
Yeah, but why
you know who did
didn't
it?
you?
Evan. Evan did it, and he paid off big time.
Yeah.
Big
Let's
time.
go.
Big points.
I just didn't know it was the week. I thought it could be the week. And if someone said, Matt, who are your outliers that you think could do it? It's Paige. But I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. Okay. Without further ado, who's taking this one? Josh, you're taking the lead?
Sure.
Like, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. No, you knew all
We love
along.
Josh. Yes.
All right, Josh. But I'll intro here. Let's go ahead and bring into the show Paige Pierce. Welcome to the show. Is this working? Did I not hit the music? Boom. There we go. Hey, Paige, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. And this time, because you won. We've had you on a few times through the last year or so. We're excited to have you back with a big, huge win. Congratulations. I'll serve up the softball that everybody does. Then I'll pass it to Josh, who has some interesting questions. But we saw the feeling. We saw the feeling. I don't know how many people have told you. They're all crying. Everyone in the world that watches disc golf is touched. So are you still reeling off of those feelings, or have things settled in a different way, or are you just happy and on cloud nine kind of thing, or where are you at?
A little bit. I think yeah, I'm really tired right now.
Okay.
I took a 5 a.m. flight, so I was at the airport at 3:30 in the morning. Just got home a couple hours ago, and yeah, just tired, and allowing myself to feel that instead of just powering through and practicing for another event. So right now the biggest emotion is tired, and kind of maybe just relief that okay, I did it now. I can calm down and just like, sit in it and process those feelings, because it's hard to just answer like how does it feel like
Yes.
2 seconds after you
Yes.
tap in the putt.
But you did, and frankly, I mean, throw Simon out there. I was doing the Simon cast. We were not for FPO at the time, but Simon, we talked about your win. We were doing the companion stream, and he's like, "Did you cry, Matt?" He's like, "If you don't cry, you're not human." It was incredible. So congratulations. Whether you could share your feelings, you expressed your feelings. I'm going to pass it over to Josh now. He's going to kind of take the lead on this and have a conversation. I'm sure I'll have some follow-ups and everyone else will too. Thanks for joining the show. Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, hey Paige, good to see you at least here virtually. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I mean,
good
I
to
would
see
echo
you.
the same sentiments Matt did. I say, wow, what a journey. And when I say that, Paige, I'm saying like life more broadly. Like I look back a few years and figure, what are the chances that you would predict this would be your journey? And I'm talking about just lots of different twists and turns and life decisions, and then 326 days between when you posted about your injury and this win. So look, many of us already kind of know, but like, can you give us a little bit about your perspective on this journey back? Less than a year, which does it feel more or less than a year since that event in Norway to you?
Does it? What was your final?
Just asking, like, does it
Just
feel
like,
like
does
it's
it
been?
feel more?
Yeah, does it
Yeah.
feel more or less? Like, to me, it feels like there maybe is a lifetime in between there. At the same time, it's like the snap of a
Yeah.
finger.
Yeah, totally. I agree for sure. Time has a weird way of doing that, like making it seem quick and long. Yeah, it definitely feels like a lot of time, a lot of sitting around on this same couch with my leg like lifted up, elevated, and watching competitions and just like, yeah, just hoping I could walk again. Like I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to get back to where I was, because I still wasn't walking even, and like having to hobble to the bathroom or something like that. So yeah, it definitely feels like a long journey. But I don't know, I think that made me more hungry for it because I was like out of it for so long, but also I think it kind of gave me a little bit of an advantage as far as like my mental state, because a lot of people come off the season and they're tired and they take, the last tournament of the year is mid-October. They maybe won't even touch a disc until December. And for me, that's like right around the time where I was starting to walk again and, do physical therapy. And so as everyone was kind of getting comfortable, I was working harder and harder and harder. So I think that I had a little bit of an advantage in that sense, and that I was just itching to get back out there where everyone was like itching for relaxing and family time and stuff. So I think, yeah, and just like staying motivated and staying like not always confident, but trying to stay always confident, and know that it's a progression, and like it wasn't just going to get better overnight, and like keeping myself positive and knowing like it's going to come when it's going to come, and just trying to be patient.
So I find it interesting that you mentioned you were more fresh mentally compared to people who had a grind right on the tour, right? So, but your recovery, obviously, it's so much focused on the physical recovery, clearly, right? When you have a physical injury. Did you have to actually focus? Like, did you have ups and downs mentally during that year? Like, even just existential questions, like kind of like, is this going to heal? Is it going to heal fast enough? Not really knowing. You can't speed things along. I'm just curious, like, was there any kind of mental frustration for you? Well, obviously at the beginning, but along the way of questioning how this would play out. And how did you kind of navigate that? Because physical is it's going to do its thing, but mental, you can you have some influence over that.
Yeah, I think, I mean, yes, 1,000,000%. Like, I felt like the lowest thing I felt was just like worthless. Like, what am I even good for? Like, I graduated high school and I've been on tour ever since then. Since 2009, I graduated. and I was on the road 2009 in the summer. So this is literally all I've ever known. And yeah, I just was thinking like, well, if I can't do this, what am I good for? Or like, I don't even have any other skills, like, and just like beating myself up. It wasn't, I'm not like blaming myself for falling or anything, but just like, now that you're in this situation, like, what are you even going to do? Like, yeah. And so I don't know, I looked into like real estate. I looked into like, I was considering other options just in case I couldn't get back to form. And Ayla was telling me like, are you sure? Are you sure? And just kept questioning and, seeing if that's what I actually meant or if it was just like a burst of emotions that was like really, really sitting heavy on my mind. And so, yeah, luckily for that reason, the process took so long because I had enough time to really actually think about what I wanted and realize like that wasn't what I wanted. That was like a default, or not a default, like a whatever, second option or something. And yeah, like I don't know, I was questioning like, am I just gonna try to go back to disc golf because it's easy and because it's all I know, or do I want to go back to disc golf? And like every single event, I kept finding myself like, I gotta know who wins. I gotta know what they're throwing on that shot. Why did they do that? And I just like, it still was, even though I wasn't able to play or walk, I was like consumed by disc golf still. And so like, I just kind of like slowly realized like, okay, you're just, you're having doubts. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. And so yeah, there were moments, like long moments, weeks or maybe months, where I questioned like my whole entire life. But I think, yeah, again, it just made me more grateful and like gave me more of an itch to get back out there and to play harder and to practice more and, just to be happy playing and having the opportunity to even like go to these tournaments and to get a tour card. And, so like, whereas before it might have just felt like it should have been given to me because of my past or whatever like that. I had earned this and I was ready to fight and show like that I'm grateful for all the sport's given me and that, I want to give back to it more still.
Yeah. Well, thank you for like sharing. I mean, obviously some of that's like pretty personal, but I think it's really interesting, right? We watch the competition and we listen to interviews like this. It helps people relate and kind of understand that although we would classify this sport as a game, it really is more than a game, right? For people who are committed and, making it part of their life. And that's definitely part of your journey. You said in an interview at the end, it's so much bigger than a tournament. And I think you were talking about obviously that particular win. It's more than just that win because it's you said it's feeling confident again, stepping up to a tee pad, knowing where your disc is going. That's more exciting. The confidence that it gives you going forward. So my question is like, do you feel this means like, I don't know how else to say it because but are you back? And when we say back, like, are we saying you're back from an injury? Like, is that how you feel? Like, this is it? You've kind of like, you're back on the scene? Do you feel that way? Or is that just a narrative that media and fans might say?
Yeah, it's funny. Just, there's going to be storylines and stuff, but in my head, I feel like how I can relate to that, like that I'm back is just like that. I'm back being able to put all my weight behind my discs and feeling like my timing is on with that weight. And like, yeah, because before I was kind of easing off and scared it was gonna like tweak or something or hurt, and so it was really screwing up my timing. And I was just early release, late release, early release, late release, and when you don't know when your disc is gonna come out of your hand, it's not very easy to get a birdie. So I was having to rely on my putter alone, basically. And I had some great putting tournaments, but that's only like a third of the game. So I think like as far as me being back, like definitely my confidence off the tee and my power and my timing is definitely back. And what I was saying about it being more than the tournament is the confidence part, and like the confidence is a huge part of like my 5 world titles. I was more confident than ever, almost to a fault. Like I lost a lot of fans because of this one interview I gave where I said, I think it's my tournament to lose. And like, I know I'm the best player in the world right now and I'm going to win the tournament. And I believed that. And I really did. And, um, you know, somewhere along the way, I lost that confidence and I stopped losing as many, or I stopped winning as many tournaments. And so, you know, if this is what I want to do for my job, then I need to have that confidence, and I don't need to listen to anybody else that says my confidence is a bad thing. You know, that's what it takes for an athlete to be at the top of their game. And I think winning the tournament and putting up hot rounds finally, one like actual the hot round, but like good rounds, 4 consistently good rounds, like it just felt like, oh, it felt like such a relief, and like, okay, you can do this, like stop doubting yourself, let's go, push forward, everything's like trending up, let's just keep riding that train.
So you talk about the importance of having confidence, which we've heard that from other interviews. And like you said, that's what it means to be an athlete. So the first 6 events of the year were probably quite challenging. You talked about the difficulty of not knowing where your disc was going to go. But again, even mentally, right? Like you averaged a 22nd place finish, but then at OTB, you were 5th, and then you have this win. And so do you feel like something's clicked? So like from here on out, obviously every tournament's unique and you don't know what the challenges are, but do you feel like you've kind of recovered through this early season challenge and these last 2 events are more what you would expect going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. My body feels that way. You know, I'm walking around and I'm not like tentative on my feet, like even just around my house. Like, you know, before I would stand up and I would have to like kind of, you know, flex my ankle to get it kind of mobilized. And I still have to do that in the morning time, but throughout the rest of the day, I'm not doing that at all. So I can tell it's getting better, and I hope like even, you know, in a full year, my surgeon said he thought a full year for recovery. So hopefully like in a couple more months, like July 25th was my surgery. So like by the end of July, hopefully, I don't know if it's just like magic like that or not, but I'm trying to hold on to that hope that it is going to get even better because like I said, in the mornings, and unfortunately that's when we play, um, it's still really stiff. It's no pain, but just stiff, and I have to like loosen it up and get it like mobilized. And uh, yeah, we play in the mornings, so I've just been having to wake up quite a bit earlier and you know, make sure that my physical like limitations are full, and I'm not, you know, hobbling over to the tee pad and trying to rely on my body not warmed up properly. So yeah, I hope that it continues to get better. But even if it doesn't, I was able to win the tournament as is right now in this current body. So I feel confident that I can definitely win more tournaments.
That's awesome. And maybe this is a stretch or a throwback, but just curious, you talked about your body and, you know, the stiffness from the surgery and recovery, but you actually go back to last year, 2023, when you were playing some events and you were dealing with some other challenges. I think you had pain and inflammation in your shoulder, right? You were kind of recovering from that. So like with all this additional rest, like, do you think that provides any value and benefit? Like the rest of your body is like rested and recovered. You're obviously dealing with that one issue, but is there anything to that? Whereas other players often are kind of, you see like people grinding through tennis elbow and strains and inflammation, whereas you haven't been as much. Like, is that a factor for you? The rest of you feeling healthy?
Yeah, that's a huge factor, and that's like part of in the off season, making your tour schedule. Like that was a huge thought in my head. 2 things. One was physically staying fresh and making sure like when like for example Portland Open, um I one of my friends asked me like, how's your body feeling, like not my ankle, just how's the rest of your body feeling, like any aches or soreness anywhere. And usually I feel like it's pretty common, like on the throwing arm, like right up here in your shoulder and like maybe even into your neck and like lower back, your right side as a right-handed player, like that whole up and down your back gets tense because you're throwing a lot of shots, you're practicing, you're warming up. And yeah, it's a lot of people go through tennis elbow, stuff like that. And yeah, like not overdoing it is a huge part of what I was planning for this year and trying to rest on off weeks. When I get to Portland, play 4 practice rounds, don't take any days off while I'm there. I know a lot of people that are on tour, they play like maybe they practice Monday and Tuesday, but they take Wednesday off so they can get some rest before the tournament. Well, for me, I'm getting my rest before the tournament. And then when my plane touches down in Portland, that's the only reason I'm there. I'm playing practice round every single day. And, I'm probably playing after the round as well. Champions Cup, I played 6 practice rounds, which, I didn't even cash at that one. But I think I was still getting the stamina back on that one too. But yeah, I feel like that was a huge part of it. And then the second thing was mentally getting that rest as well. And like, especially after a win like this, I could either be sitting here like talking to you guys and like reflecting and just like breathing through all these feelings and like, yeah, being in my house and just like actually having time to process those feelings and emotions. Or I could be still in Portland already practicing another course. And then you don't really have time to like process the win or like actually properly let it sink in and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, I really wanted to emphasize like, play a couple events and then take a week or 2 off, play a couple events, take a week or 2 off and like keep that fire burning and keep the itch to want to get back out. And, if I'm going to leave my house and this home that we've built, I'm going to work, I'm clocking in now, I'm at work and, fully focused on the tournament at hand with no complaints or no soreness or no mental fatigue.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So you confirmed, because some people were asking, yeah, Beaver State Fling, and I could see on your schedule not registered, and you just confirmed. That's like intentional on your part to kind of rest, recover, and you probably didn't know you were going to win, but you also get to kind of marinate in that moment and kind of refresh and relax. So it sounds like that's your strategy for the rest of the year as well, which is great.
Yeah, we can't play all the tournaments, and I think that a lot of people get caught up thinking that, and the fans too. I think some newer fans maybe don't really realize that we make our own schedules and we don't have to play them all. It's kind of like it's a cool sport in that aspect, is like we get to choose what's best for us. What are our goals? What do we want to do? And so like for me, one of my biggest goals, which I don't even know if I've said this out loud, but like one of my biggest goals is not like winning the tournament or 10-time world champion, whatever. It's to have a long career, and I think that playing 20 events a year instead of 34 or whatever these crazy people are out there are doing, like I'm extending my years on the tour by a long shot, physically but also mentally, because I know a lot of people already that I heard in person were like, oh man, this has been a long year already. And for me, I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface, but also I think that's a good thing because I'm so far back in the points. I looked at the points and I jumped up from 26th to 14th, but I'm still like Missy's in 4th and she has double my points. So I got a lot of work to do, and I feel like that's really good motivation. But also only 10 of the events count. So once I get 10 in, then all that kind of will reshuffle and we'll see where I'm left. So if I can keep this momentum going and, keep climbing up the points, I feel like I'll have like, this fresh energy and hopefully be willing, be able to like put up a challenge at the Pro Tour Championships.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, like jumping that many, point spots. I know you're saying you're still a long way behind, but that's pretty impressive also in 1 week.
Yeah, I was
at the Elite Plus series, right? So Elite Series Plus, is that how we say it? Right. Which is even more points.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
All right, so a couple of we won't probably keep you way too much longer, but a couple more things. How about that throw in that didn't count? How much fun was that?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, that one was really special to me, and it's funny that it didn't count. In my head, it counted though, because with the I don't know what word, like uncertainty,
Yeah,
basically,
uncertainty. Yep.
of what the ruling was gonna be. I was very happy that that happened like that, and that it was the same score either way, so
Right.
that there was no like, oh, but what if, but oh,
Yeah.
that shouldn't have happened, you know. So I was really happy about that, and it did count in my head because of that reason. But like, I I understand what you mean, and yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on in my head right before that shot. So to like actually just like sigh it out and then just let it go and see it go to the chains was just like the coolest thing in the world for me. And um yeah, right before I threw it, I just told myself, there's doubts, what? Where? All these mental like thoughts, and then I was just like, just throw it. You know how to do it, just throw it, and then yeah, so it was a really cool moment, and like um but yeah, it made my energy like just ramp up. Like I had just finally calmed down like halfway through the round, and like I was so nervous going into the final round, and like I finally got my like nerves down, and then that happened, and I was just like adrenaline boosted, and I was right back to super nervous again. So yeah, it definitely amplified all the feelings throughout that last round for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to watch, obviously, because we like see the debate about what's happening, and then it's just kind of like you crushed it. I'm curious, not to like press, because maybe it's a whole range of things, but when you say there were a lot of thoughts going through your mind right before that, was it anything in particular? Was it about the actual call of did it clear the Mando, or is it just like the whole event? I'm just curious if there was anything like looming in your thoughts right before that.
Um, yeah. Um, I was trying to throw it as if that was going to be the call, that I missed
Yep.
the Mando, because one of my card mates was pretty vocal in that they didn't think that I made the Mando. And even though we had an official there saying, hey, you didn't make it, whatever, um, I could just already hear and see the internet blowing up that, oh, this is the only reason Paige Pierce won. She's a cheater. She missed the Mando at 2019 World. And
Mm-hmm.
that's only, and I could just hear it blowing up again. And I would have rather taken the bogey than deal with any of that. So I was just like, okay, if one of my card mates thinks this, I'm just going to play provisional. And if worst case scenario is that I did miss the Mando and I get the stroke. And so I was like, all right, just put it right by the basket, just get it up there and move past it, and I guess like maybe that little bit of all of that going on gave me a little bit of extra adrenaline. I hit the exact line I wanted, but just a tiny bit higher. I wasn't trying to necessarily make it. I was just trying to park it. But so yeah, I feel like that was like a huge moment for me to just be able to like quiet those thoughts and be like, just throw it. And then to like throw it so successfully was like, good job, Paige. Like, way to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you for elaborating. I think people were curious too, remembering back to the world's call and all the, like you said, the internet exploding. You've talked about that plenty of times, and so we don't have to reflect on it, but it's like disc golf is a mental challenge, and here you are faced with a moment where there's potentially an uncertain call. And congrats to you to be able to have the confidence to do that. It was fun to watch.
Thank you.
All right, so talk a little bit about the disc. You clearly have plenty of passion and drive for the game. That hasn't waned. You've talked about that.
Yeah.
And you talked about the disc at the end interview. So like, it sounds like that disc was treating you well on the course, or maybe you were treating it well. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I think we're good partners.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think, it's obviously not always the archer or not always the arrow, but I think like I really mesh well with the disc, the drive, and like this is one of the best things about my partnership with Discraft is that it's like I'm actually picking how it flies and making the disc that based on my flight or my power and spin and everything. So it just flies so perfectly for me, and I can like really hit it on a hyzer hard and it just flips up and gets me the full S flight. And I'm throwing, I don't know for sure. I kind of want to get out to a field and like, range find it and stuff, but I feel like I'm throwing farther than I did even before the surgery. So that's a really, really exciting. And yeah, it's just flying so amazing for me. And we're actually making a couple limited runs of them right now. I've been back and forth on texting today with plastic types and stamps and stuff. But we're going to release some like a commemorative Portland Open disc. And then also I'm headed to Am Nationals on Wednesday. So I'm only home for the rest of today and tomorrow. And then I fly to Am Nats to do like a kind of like a Beat the Beast thing that Paul used to do. But yeah, so doing that at Toboggan and going to watch some of the Am Nats coverage. And then we're going to release I think we're only releasing 500 at that event of a different plastic of drive. So yeah, it's just been such a great disc for me, and I'm excited to see all the new plastics that we're coming out with them, and hopefully put some more different stability slots of them in my bag and make it my only driver in my bag. That'd be awesome.
That's awesome. Well, we've probably overkept you a bit, and with a 3:30 a.m. start and a long day, we are not going to keep you any longer. I can tell you, Paige, in our live chat, people are they're thrilled to see you getting your confidence back on the course. I think people love seeing your journey, which includes the downs and the ups. I think it sets an example. Everybody's got their journeys, and it's fun to watch. And like I said, in some ways there's this sentiment of you're back with another win, but in reality, it's like it hasn't been all that long. I think you've recovered pretty quickly. So we're really happy you joined us here this evening. I'm going to just ask the rest of the show to make sure I didn't miss anything, guys. Is there any other questions? But if not,
it was very interesting. I loved sitting and listening. Believe it or not, people think I do talk a lot, but it's not always because I want to. Paige, we're just about to bring Sophia in. Just give us
Awesome.
your quick reaction. Like, what do you see in her before we bring her in, and we'll let you go.
Man, first of all, her reach back, she's so tall. She's like, like most of the MPO that are like up there, AB, Ganon, Calvin, they're all like tall and long arms, and Sophia's got that body type, but in the FPO field, which we haven't seen too much of so far. So I feel like she's just got the body type for it, and then she's just like a killer. She's out there, she's ready to birdie, but she's smiling, she keeps a pretty calm demeanor, like on a good shot, bad shot, pretty similar. Even keel kind of reminds me of like Val Jenkins back in the day, that type of energy. But yeah, she's slinging them. Wow. Out driving me and Cat Merch. And I played with her also at OTB Open. And so I've got to play with her at two big arm courses, and she's ripping them out there. It's really cool to see.
All right, well, we're going to bring her in and find out some more. I appreciate your insight on that and everything else you have going on. As always, thanks for reaching out or responding back and making this happen. We love having you on. You're a great guest to have on and great player and an inspiration to everybody in disc golf. We'll talk to you another time, Paige. Get some rest. Take it in.
All right, sounds good.
All right, peace, Paige. Have a good one. All right, everybody, Paige Pierce. And next up, we're actually going to pretty much just go ahead and pop it right in, Ben. We're going to bring in Sophia, and I'm going to ask, I think she's muted. If you want to unmute your side, Sophia. There you go. Sophia, now, I'll welcome you to the show. Congratulations. What we see in media is what we would consider your best performance in disc golf to date. We'd like to hear your feedback on that, but congrats. And is your last name Donecki? How do you say it?
It's German. It's Donecke.
Donecke. Okay.
Donecke. Yeah, sure.
Oh,
it's not a sound that people say in English, so it's hard. There's an umlaut on the O in Germany, so Donecke is what I hear the most often, but Donecke is the most close that English speakers usually get. So Donica is fine.
Donica. Okay. We had a whole segment couple weeks ago where we brought in a friend doing DGN broadcasting over in Europe, and he was explaining how to say all the names pronunciation for American English, and I was trying as hard as I could to figure it out. People seem to enjoy the episode because it's kind of funny for us to say some of those sounds, but we welcome you to the show. Great performance. We've seen you, as Paige just mentioned, you heard there while you were in the green room, OTB, you had a great showing for some of the rounds there, and then you really followed it up here at Portland Open, finding lead cards. And I think as far as PDGA numbers go, the largest number to ever find a lead card at an Elite Series event. So like fun information like that. And I will say DGN loved, and not, rightfully so, they loved all the different accolades and things that you do with your life. So just start us out first and foremost with, where did you find disc golf? Like, where did disc golf become a part of your life?
Yeah, so I'm from Vancouver Island, which is on the west coast of British Columbia, Canada. And disc golf courses there are kind of like hiking in the woods. And so during COVID, it became a very popular activity, like in other places in the world. So me and my friend who had done it once before, we all went and threw some discs around in the woods during the pandemic, and we kind of liked it. We did it maybe like once a month, and then we started doing it like once a week, and then we started throwing in the field. And next thing we knew, we were going to actual basket courses and buying more discs and stuff like that. And yeah, here we are.
Here we are. So disc golf was, as you mentioned, a lot of people came to it that way through the pandemic, is finding something to do. That is, besides that one other time, I mean, that's really where you started your disc golf journey about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the other things that we hear about, it's obviously cool to hear, and I'm sure you're proud. You have some association to Harvard University, if I'm not mistaken. As well as other educational, so what's your highest level of education? I don't think I've ever asked anybody that on the show, so if it's inappropriate, let me know, but what's your highest level?
I'm a doctor.
Okay.
Of chemistry.
Should I have welcomed you that way? Should I have welcomed you as Dr. Donica?
If you wanted to.
Okay.
You didn't call me Mrs. Donica. If you'd said that, then I would have been like, wow, okay.
Awesome. So you said of chemistry. Just give us the short, preschool version of that. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Why did you go into that field?
It was just my favorite subject during my undergrad at Harvard, so I chose to pursue it. I went to university in my hometown for chemistry. My dad actually got his PhD when I was a kid at the same university that I got my PhD at. So it just felt like the right move to get closer to home again after 4 years on the East Coast. And I just really enjoyed chemistry during my undergrad. So I wanted to keep going down that route. So I got my PhD.
That's all. Congratulations on that accomplishment. You seem like, to those who don't know you well, which is us and a lot of people, you seem very talented, and maybe that is, maybe you're proud of that, or maybe it's embarrassing to hear that, but they mention lots of things that you like to do, whether it's pictures or classical guitar. We could talk about all different things. Do you feel like, and this is an opportunity to speak transparently because I'm asking you the question, do you feel like you're born naturally talented to learn new things quick?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I wouldn't know, I guess. But I guess since a kid, my mom signed me up for a lot of things. So I think just by doing a lot of things, I got good at doing things. I don't know.
Would that make sense? Yeah, no, it does. Would your friends say that you're talented at a lot of things?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do.
Okay,
they give me a hard time.
Okay. They're like, Sophie, you're good at everything. Dr. Donica. I'll say it that way.
Usually they're mad at me. Yeah.
They're mad. They're like, and you're a doctor. You got one up on everything. So when it came to disc golf, any other athletic background that you really enjoyed, or was disc golf really a new form and motion like most people experience, but did it come naturally to you like it looks like it did, or did you have to work hard at it?
Yeah. So my first sort of full-time sport was rowing. I started rowing in grade 8 or 8th grade, as you guys say, and did it through my undergrad. And I stopped rowing at the start of 2020 because of the pandemic, also because I just kept getting injured. So in rowing, I learned how to do a motion as perfectly as I could. So it's similar to disc golf, where I had the chance to really kind of get that mind-body connection going well, especially while under high stress, which you're under high stress when you're racing, you're running out of oxygen. So I think that has really helped my disc golf in the sense of like finding relaxed power and staying focused when it's hard to. So yeah, I think I have a solid amount of background in learning how to do new motions. The sidearm is a harder motion for me. Like in rowing, you're like using your arm and you're pulling back, right? So it's literally a backhand throw.
That
And
is
the sequence,
interesting.
legs, body, arms, like you use your legs in rowing. So so I'm literally just pulling on the disc is how I think of it.
That is interesting. You often hear that the backhand throw is the most unnatural for most people due to other sports like not basketball, like baseball or anything else that you're throwing at throwing motion, football or whatever. That's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Your skill does come off as more natural, as do a lot of the top FPO competitors. So I have to ask, because as a doctor, that's a lot of education to go into, and I don't care if you use it or you don't, but it's a lot to have if you decided not to do something with it. Are you planning to deviate at all? Does disc golf attract you as just a hobby, or where are you at with that?
I'm honestly still figuring that out for myself. I have thought of going into teaching. I've thought of going into research in terms of chemistry. Right now I'm actually tutoring a fairly large amount. So I do enjoy educating people in chemistry. I also enjoy the research side, but I haven't really decided the path yet that I want to take. My partner, who was my caddy this weekend, Brett, he's wrapping up his PhD as well. So I was sort of like using this time while he's finishing to just like go off and just disc golf. And it's obviously been going really well. So it's making me reconsider whether I really do need to keep on looking for a job or something like that. So, you know.
Yeah. What attracts you most about disc golf? Because obviously you got out during the pandemic. You found out you enjoyed it with your friends. What is it about disc golf that kept you sticking around and even competing at a high level? Like someone told you, oh, you could go, you're pretty good. Like what's keeping you around in disc golf? What's attractive about it?
I think for me, I really enjoy like throwing far. That's like the actual like part of disc golf I like. I also just feel like there's a really good community in my hometown, and I've made a lot of friends while doing it. So I think for me, community matters a lot in what I do. And so I think it's a combination of just the people I've met along the way and spending time on beautiful courses and just seeing how far we can make the disc fly, which is just so much fun.
Absolutely. Can I ask the question? We used to play a game. We've been doing this. This is our 5th season. We used to play a game with random disc golfers who we didn't know well, and we don't know you very well, but like we would ask, how far can you throw a disc? And we'd all have to guess. I'm not going to play that game with you right now, but I am curious to know, how far would you say you could throw a disc?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I haven't measured my farthest throws, but like I can throw in the 400s for sure.
If feet, yeah, of course feet. I was thinking, well, she's Canadian or okay. Jumping off of that a little bit, I think it was Evan earlier who asked, do you consider yourself Canadian? You mentioned Germany, but is that like Simon Lizotte? Like he's got dual citizenship, or I don't know, yeah, dual citizenship. What do you consider yourself? And we're like,
yeah. So I was okay. So someone sent me a picture of the broadcast, and it said I was born in Germany. I was actually born in Canada, and we moved to Germany when I was 5 for 5 years, and then we moved back. So half my family is fully German, doesn't speak English, and then the other half is all in Canada. If I introduced myself to someone, I would say I'm Canadian. If I got to know them more, I would say I'm actually like, I also have a German passport that expired, but a lot of my roots are in Germany as well. So
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun. I feel like, and this is not about Simon. I was just hanging out with him this weekend doing some DGN streaming for the MPO, but he mentioned your name and he said, wow, shout out performance to Sophia.
wow.
Yeah. But I think he would say opposite. He'd say he's German, but he also has Canadian as his second. But anyways, that's fun. I appreciate that. I'm trying to think, anybody else have any questions here? We know you have a time limit and we appreciate you making time here. Does anybody else on the show have a question for her or before I wrap it up?
Sure. Yeah, I will. So, hi, Sophia. This is Josh. Honestly, I would love to get to know so much because it sounds like such an interesting story in life. So thank you for joining us, if not for a few minutes. I kind of have two questions. First of all, considering you've only really been playing the sport for 4 years, is that right? And you said during the pandemic, so 3.5, 4 years.
Summer of 2020, we played our first round.
All right. So I'm just curious, when did you start watching the professional scene? Because going from playing recreational to playing professionally is a really big leap. And paired with that question is did you watch any of these players before you joined, and here you are playing alongside of them? I'm just curious what that dynamic was like for you.
Yeah, so I think in 2021, when tournaments were just starting to start up again in Canada, by then I knew who Paige Pierce was for sure, and I think one of my birthday gifts that summer was a Paige Pierce cap, the white and black with the Paige Pierce logo, and I think by then we were watching Jomez, and my partner really likes to watch YouTube. I don't have YouTube, or I don't use it very often, but I would watch with him sometimes. And so I started to know who the big names were. And and then we started watching more and more that winter. So I knew who Paige Pierce was when I was yeeting the disc 100 feet. So
and of course I know the answer to this, but I need to ask it is did you, at that time when you got the hat and you saw her on YouTube, did you have any thought in your mind that maybe one day you'd be competing against her?
No, not. I don't think so. I mean, I thought maybe one day I could get good enough to, go on a tour, but I didn't think it would be this soon.
Yeah,
and
well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you answered a question to Matt about kind of figuring out exactly where disc golf's going to sit with you long term, right? Those are some big life decisions, and most of them are not irrevocable, meaning, hey, have fun, try it out, see what makes sense. But I am just curious, just because our viewers will want to know, what are you planning for the next few weeks and months and the rest of this year? Are you trying to tour this year and see how it plays out, or what are you doing?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm actually before this weekend, I thought I had a great plan of going home and playing A tiers and, maybe going to throw pink if traveling worked out. But now it's maybe time to reconsider and see, because I just got into the European Open, which would be really cool to go to. But, I'm really in the process right now of trying to see if I can bulk up my season this year. But I definitely know I'm going to be playing some tour events next year. That's
awesome.
The plan.
Well, there's nothing like getting a nice $3,000 check this weekend also, right? To kind of be maybe there's some potential.
Yeah, well,
there.
now I have to figure out the way to navigate that kind of stuff legally too. So,
yeah, that's true. Right? Yeah, you're getting paid. You got everything, taxes, international. You've got lots of things to figure out. So sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. My partner's more stressed than me about it. But.
All right, awesome.
All right, cool.
Great, yeah, well, thank you for joining us. We'll give it back to the rest of the hosts, but thank you, Sophia.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sophia, it's been a true pleasure to get to know you here in this short time. I would love to figure out another time to have you on and break down more. It's interesting in media. We get latched on to the best performances, and then sometimes you're only talking about a small handful, and then you get new storylines and we're latch on. And so a lot of people would like to hear more. We have a full show tonight. We're glad you're able to come on. We know you got other things planned too. We expect that you're going to have this is not a projection and this is not pressure. We think you're going to do pretty well in disc golf if you choose to continue. We'd love to get to know you better if that's cool with you. Do you have any sponsors, anybody like that that's supporting you right now, or how can other people support you?
Yeah, so I'm currently sponsored by Innova and Emerald City Discs. So I'm on
Okay.
their teams, and
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
Actually, sorry, I do have a. I'm going to the World Team Championships for disc golf by WIFDIF in Australia this fall. So I do have a fundraiser disc with me and a teammate, Stuart McIsaac. So we do have some of those available if people are interested.
very cool. Tell us how
Buying a Canadian themed disc.
yeah, tell us how to access that and purchase.
Just message me through Instagram, honestly, and then I'll get it shipped to you.
Are you getting bombarded with messages and tags this weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's been kind of crazy. So I'm still like really behind on replying thank you.
I was impressed. I was impressed and happy. I think it was, I don't remember if I reached out last night or today, but it was within 24 hours. So good job.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Awesome. So
I'm
yeah,
glad I caught it.
yeah, everyone reach out. She said do it. Send her a message, ask how to purchase it, and support her that way. WIFDIF, a lot of people are stuck on PDJ in their minds. Some people, like it or don't like it, but WIFDIF, man, all that goes on in the flying disc sports with all flying discs is just really cool. The history of the sport and the fact that you're doing that is really cool as well. So any other shout outs or anything you'd like to say before we let you go tonight?
Thank you very much for having me. And yeah, just I shout out to my sponsors that I just mentioned and my caddy, Brett, who I mentioned as well, for taking the time to make this weekend a success. So
very, very
yeah.
cool. I have four boys, 4 children, and 2 of them are also on Team Innova. So when they see you rising in the ranks, they're like, Dad, have you heard of Sophia? She's on Team Innova. Like, they're so happy. So you have fans.
Aww.
Just by association to Innova, number one, but just fans in general. I'm sure you're garnering a lot of those, and we're excited for you. Yeah, keep it up. I know you have like a Canadian phone number thing. I'll try to keep this contact, but it sounds like Instagram's a good way. We'll definitely reach out another time, Sophia. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. All right, everybody. Sophia. Whoa.
Doctor.
I love how we have Evan.
I clicked Nick like 20 times to be. Oh, there he goes.
23
That
times.
was a good magic trick.
23 times.
Dr. Donica.
Doctor.
That's pretty cool.
Donica.
Dr. D. Okay. Well, we got another guy. Hey, Gannon, can you
Bruh.
you can hear us, I'm sure.
Hey,
right?
I need the 10-second
good. I
version
can
of
hear.
Nick. I just need Nick only 10 seconds. Confirm.
10-second version.
Did you get the
Gannon's
cows?
waiting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
All
was
right,
still
got the
there was
cows.
still
We'll come back to that later.
yeah, there was still one out there when I left, but
All right.
We gotta get
yeah.
we gotta get a cow sound in here. Woo. When Nick's late, we just hit the cow sound.
No, I hear that all day. I don't need a cow sound here.
Perfect. Nick, so you just joined the show, but we're literally
I
gonna
did.
let you we're
I
gonna
got
let
to
you be
catch
the
the end of-
lead here for
Sounds
this
good.
impressive performances by Gannon.
Yeah.
Um
All impressive performances tonight.
I'm good. Okay, hold on. Just let's pull Gannon in real quick. Just have me up. I have something to tell him before the interview starts. What up, bruh? How you doing?
Hello.
All right, good. We can hear you great. You look great. Sound great.
Say less.
Simon, I was doing the companion stream. This is pre-interview, okay? So we'll get to the interview. I was doing the companion stream with Simon. And we got towards the end and we knew, I think it was the end of round 3. No, it was the end of, maybe it was the end of round 1. We only did the companion stream round 1 and the final round. But Simon's talking about MPO. And he goes, Steve Dodd or somebody is joined in and he's like, oh, we should hear from Gannon. And Simon goes, no. He's like, everybody hears from Gannon. Gannon is everywhere. He's like, we don't want to hear from Gannon. We want to hear from Linus or whoever. He's like, let's hear from some other players. And I kind of inside, I'm like, this is Simon's stream. I'll let him say that for once. But here we are, Staggered Stance. Welcome to the show. Dude, as you know, you made it boring. And that's all there is to it. But congratulations.
Thank you. That's always the goal every tournament.
I know. Okay, so I'm going to pass this over to Nick. He's going to take away the interview portion. I'm sure we'll chat a little bit more after, but go ahead,
I
Nick.
was gonna say, anyone that wants to jump in, feel free to jump in. But first off, congratulations, awesome win. With many people saying a very, very dominant win. Do you feel as though it was a dominant win?
Yeah, for sure. I remember after round 3, I was going through my head on how many mistakes I made for the tournament so far, and I only made 3. And there were just 3 OB shots. That's it. You know, I didn't miss any circle. I mean, I had 1 circle and miss through I think 3 rounds, or no, I had 2. One was the dead center spit out from like 30 feet, and then my other one was the eagle putt on 18 round 3 to go up 11. But both of those putts were like 1 inch inside the circle. You could have said there was circle 2 even.
Like your left foot was in circle 2, your right foot's in circle 1.
Yeah, like that kind of thing.
Yep.
So you know, I putted really well, like on the putts that like you really have to make. And so it's easy to just keep momentum going. Round 1, I mean, I started the tournament off hitting my first 5 circle 2 putts, um, which is crazy, and then I only made 2 more for the rest of the whole event. So my circle 2 putting felt fine. I just almost felt like every time I went up to putt, it would just be super swirly. Like the final round, every time I went to putt, it would just be impossible to make it. And I pretty much was aiming at the cage because I didn't want to 3 putt. But yeah, in my head, it just, you know, I remember 7 holes in round 2, and I was 7 through 7. I already had like a 6 or 7 stroke lead. And so at that point, I mean, I just got to like play some pretty solid disc golf and I already get the win. And then I kind of kept it up with back-to-back course records. Round 3, I missed hot round by 1, and then round 4, I only missed it by 2. So just a recipe for success.
Yeah, going through your kind of pre-round Instagram post, one of the things that you had said was, "I'm just going out there hoping to shoot 7 down," and you quickly accomplished that. Do you always put kind of a number in your head before your tournament rounds? Do you think like, "Hey, if I can go out and shoot 6 down round 1," and does it ever fluctuate, or do you think if I go 7 7 7 7, I'm going to take the victory?
Um, I mean, it kind of depends on the course. I know like the West course at Portland is like the tough part about it is the birdies are not that easy, especially you know throughout the entire course. You know, if you don't start good, it's really hard to kind of make up those strokes on the back nine. The back nine definitely played harder, and what helped me in I guess the first 3 rounds was I always had a good stretch of holes at some point in the round. I think round 1 I went like 5 or 6 under through 4 or 5 holes. So I went 1 better than perfect. Round 2 I started 7 through 7, and then round 3 I went 9 down through a stretch of 11 holes. So I mean, I was just like I you know didn't use up many holes to get birdies, and I still had so many left. And so you know my birdie rate was just so high for this tournament.
Mhm. No, definitely. And then going into the final round where there was inclement weather, it was raining, it was windy, how much pressure does that take off knowing that, hey, I have a pretty big lead going into this final round? Are you kind of in a match play setting to where it's like, you're just trying to score the same as Cole and Ricky, not let them gain any strokes? Or are you still in those inclement weather conditions? Are you still pushing as hard as you can?
I mean the game plan was still just that I wanted to win as much as the most I could have won. That was my goal for the weekend. You know, I knew it was extremely likely I was going to win after round 3. You know, I was hoping it. I mean, I'd rather have good weather than bad weather for the final round because I know I'm a worse rain golfer than most people. Um, I don't really, you know, I'm just like kind of fidgety on the tee sometimes, and you know, I kind of play more of like a field based game. I kind of just like go whenever I'm ready to throw. It's not a routine or anything. So, like, you know, when it's the putting grip was so hard because it's like it's sticky and then it's super slick and then it's sticky and then it's swirly, it's cold, it's rainy, and it's just like so much harder in person than it looked on camera. But yeah, my game plan just never changed. I was just always trying to go for more under par strokes. You know, even trying to make that putt on 18 for eagle from like 70 feet. I thought it would have been cool to go out with a bang.
Oh yeah. Do you feel like at all in the final round you were letting anything slip away, or did you still have the confidence the whole round that, hey, I'm in the driver's seat, this is no issue right now?
I mean, when I don't really know. I feel like early on, I mean, even like having 7 strokes for some reason was like scary. Like I know I feel like the other players probably didn't even think they could catch me, but in my head they could. Um, but then you know, holes started to diminish, and you know, next thing I know, I'm up 7 with like whatever 6 to play or something like that. And so at that point, I know like they would literally have to go perfect, and I'd have to go one over through these next ones. So, it was a little bit scary, especially when Cole was hitting a lot of big putts early. Um, and then Cole got within, and Ricky got within 5 after hole 15, I believe. So that was a little scary.
A little scary being up 5 with 3 to go.
Whoa. The red alien.
Runner up, Cole.
There he is. So tell us about kind of this right here. You guys are obviously great friends. What is, and you have a great group of friends out on the road that you play consistently with, you're on league cards with, or chase card. What is kind of going into the last round? Is there still that, hey, these guys are my homies, but we're here to win? Or do you just kind of block out everything, kind of do your own thing? Like, what's your mentality playing with really good friends of yours when you're still trying to beat them?
I mean, the rounds are always pretty fun. Like, I play with Isaac a decent bit, and then like obviously Cole the final round. Me and Ricky are really good friends. We play quite a bit. Same with Calvin, and I mean, it's pretty casual. We're not like, I mean, we're taking it really seriously, but you probably wouldn't think about it by like what we talk about during the round and stuff. But it's always just a good time. It's more just like, it definitely kind of feels like a fun round.
Do you feel like you have any rivals on the tour of like when you're on the same card as them, like, and take, Paul and Ricky or Paul and Will Schustrick back in the day, to where, they're the top competitors in the sport and they're not really talking, they're not really laughing around or anything. Do you feel like you have any rivals on tour right now, or just a good collective bunch of people that you enjoy playing with?
I mean, like definitely early on this year, AB was for sure my rival. Like he beat me at Texas State's when we both averaged 1070 plus golf. And that kind of sucked because it was like, I played good enough to easily win a pro tour because we were so far ahead of the rest of the field. So that one hurt a little bit. I mean, you could say Nick lost too. When I beat him at USDGC, and then I beat him at Waco this year. Also, we were both within a stroke at both those tournaments, and I came out on top. I mean, I feel like that's pretty much it. I haven't really had many like battles with people consistently. That's the same. But yeah, I'd probably say like AB if we're looking at a season perspective.
No, makes sense. Ben, I'll toss it over to you.
Hello. First off, yeah, I was about to say, first off, I just gotta go over to Ganon Burr. How we doing? I have a question about the baskets. These baskets have been known, I guess, to spit out or not really catch. Did this change your putting for the event, or was it just same old, just go straight at it? Just tell us more about the baskets and if it changed your mindset at all, and if you put it a certain way, I guess is what I'm trying to say on those baskets.
Yeah, the only time I change my pace is like inside 25 feet. Because I feel like it's close enough to where, if I putt a little bit slower, I'll probably still make the putt. And so, I can't remember the last time I got a spit out inside 25 feet. I mean, it's been, I feel like I probably only have like 1 or 2 the entire year from inside 25 feet. The problem range for me is like 30 feet because I get nervous. It's like, you're in circle 1, you got to putt hard. And so, I ended the tournament with only 1 spit out this week. I didn't have any cut throughs. I only had that 1 dead center off the pole. And like at DDO this year, we played in the same baskets, and I had no spit outs. I think people think I get a lot more spit outs than I actually do. I don't get that many, but when I do, they just are kind of have a hard reaction. The baskets, obviously everyone has to play on them, but I would like to see them change. It'll for sure for next year because we've had this problem for a couple of years now. I know players are talking, just all kind of coming together, saying like it probably needs to be changed. But I guess it can add a little bit more challenge if you gotta control the pace of your putt. But for me, it's not worth it to change my pace because then I'll probably miss the basket. I'd rather just hit the basket. If it spits out, whatever. If it doesn't, cool, it stays in. And yeah, I mean, I felt confident. Only that 1 spit out. Everything else got pretty solid.
So, like, when you are putting from 30 feet, are you going like just like full force at it, or is there a little finesse too, or are you just trying to like hit the chains and have it stick?
I think it's just like a perfect range where like I got to put a little more heat on it because if it's a little bit windy and it's a little bit of a further putt, and like that pace is just barely enough to like spit it off the pole a lot more. Um, and I use like pretty stiff putters too, so that doesn't help. But I wouldn't sacrifice the feel for maybe a better catching. But at the same time, I mean, I've seen Isaac spit off the pole so many times, and he putts with the softest things in the world. So I don't think it really matters that much. Um, I guess I kind of forgot the rest of the question.
I was just saying, like when you putt, is it like full force or is it just like more touch? I'm saying, like, are you just aiming at a change and trying to get there as fast as possible?
Definitely not as fast as possible. I feel like I have a very smooth rhythm about my putt, and it's like I don't know. To me, I'm not actually throwing the disc that hard. I think I just have like really good mechanics to create speed with low effort.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So did you feel like you were playing out of your mind, so to speak? Was this like perfect golf for you? I know you said you had 3 mistakes, but was this like your top level, or did you feel like this was just kind of like an average everyday kind of event for Ganon Burr that you can do any other event? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, disc golf just felt like really easy. I like most of the time I walk off the course and I'm like, dang, I wish I would have done this different or done that different. But like through the first 3 days, there was none of that. I didn't like really. I mean, obviously, I had the 3 mistakes. There were 3 shots, I guess, total, where I was like, dang, I wish I would have played a little bit safer, where they could have cost me about 2 strokes apiece. But I mean, other than that, like it just felt like I was in a good rhythm. What was really important for me is like sometimes in rounds when maybe I was slowing down a little bit, then I would just throw a really good drive, or I'd make a pretty solid putt. And so like when it mattered, when I needed to get the momentum going, I did. Like in round 3, I started off 1 over through 4, like not a good start at all. But then I birdied 9 of the next 11 holes because I threw a pretty solid shot on into the green on the 5th hole and made a 30-foot death putt, and then I just started parking everything, and it just made disc golf super easy. It felt like when I walk up to a hole, I wasn't worried about erring on a side of safe or throwing to this side of the fairway. I was just really analyzing and playing the shot how it's meant to be thrown, and I felt like I did a good job of like analyzing a hole, making a good game plan to break the hole down if it was a par 4 or a par 5. And then the par 3s, my backhand was just so good.
Love it. I have one more question. So obviously this is your first year with Discmania. Now that we're further in the season, what discs from Discmania have surprised you and snuck into your bag that wasn't in that original in the bag you made, where it was kind of like a first impression thing?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I have more discs that didn't make the bag that I think were gonna make the bag.
Okay,
Like,
exactly. Tell
I
us more
don't.
about that.
Yeah, I don't bag an FD. I don't bag an FD1. I only bag a splice, 2 FD3s, and a PD for my fairway driver slots. Um, I only throw 3 drivers. I have an overstable PD2, a straight PD2, and then that red Sea Line DD3, and that thing's super nice. Um, that's probably like one of my most used drivers the whole week, just because it goes really far. Out here, you can like put it on a little more hyzer and get to glide with less effort and just go further. Forehand for sure it helped because it's my bomber forehand disc. Just all around was good. Um, I mean, I've been putting pretty solid with the links recently, so that's been nice. PD's probably been one of my favorite discs. Very just workable. Never had something like that before. And then the MD5, I'm throwing a Sea Line one right now with metal flakes, and it's very very. It's different than if you remember last year I was throwing the A2. It's different, but it's more workable. It's not as overstable, and so I throw it backhand quite a bit. I can actually like rip it flat and get it to fly a little bit before it starts dumping. And then on forehand, it's been really good too because I can just rip it flat as hard as I can and it just goes straight and then finishes hard. And so I've been able to throw like some more like backhand touch shots that land a little bit flatter than what I used to do in the past. And so that's been a big help in my game. It feels amazing too. It's like a small diameter, and so if you like a small diameter disc that's like a little more overstable than say like a zone or something, then definitely check out MD5. They kind of crush too. Like I can throw in about 400 feet, so it's just all around real workable.
And then just speaking about your putting, you kind of teased that you were working potentially on a new putter with this mania. Is there any updates from that, or anything you can divulge?
Yeah, I mean, it's still in the works. We've had a couple tests so far.
Oof.
We're getting very, very close, and so I'm so excited for that. Yeah, I'm gonna after this call look at some specs, try to figure some stuff out. Hoping to have that released very soon, and yeah, that'll be very exciting.
Awesome. Anyone else? Matt? Okay.
Ben took over. That's pretty good.
Matt
Thanks,
was
Ben.
giving me like
you
hand
sent,
gestures. I'm like, what?
Oh, you sent a text. That's why. You're like anyone else,
Yeah.
and I'm just looking at
Yeah,
you.
you just were just giving me.
Gannon, it seems like wins are most important for a pro disc golf player. As the future of disc golf progresses, I think placing high as you possibly can will be just as important. Wins will just be like a super bonus. You have this as your second win this season, and we play a little game here where we guess players above or below average. How are they going to finish on the season, average finishes and all that. We do this little thing. You're currently averaging, to this point in the season, probably about halfway, a 5th place finish, like averaging. That's incredible. Just to give you a perspective, which you may already know, I know you look at all this stuff. Ricky Wysocki is second behind you with best finishes as far as averages go. I know we can talk AB's start. Ricky is 7th place average finishes this season. Third, you may not guess, Chris Dickerson. That's a sneaky
I'm
one.
not surprised because he's been sneaky good.
That's
He's been sneaky in that like 6 to 9 range. He's just kind of hovered around there. Hasn't really had a chance to win, but he's been up there.
And that's the interesting thing. Yeah, the wins may be lacking, but if he's playing good enough to say, hey, I'm finishing on average 3rd place compared to everybody else, that is sneaky good. 9th for him. And then you go, I'll just kind of round it out here. AB, 10th place finishes. Calvin Heimberg averaging the same, 10th place finishes. And then I won't give you all their finishes, but Kyle Klein, Ezra Robinson, Cole Ridallen, that's your top 10 as far as average finishes. Now, I know wins matter a lot, so here's where I'm sending this up. That's your like a rounded average performance. Where you seem like someone likes to talk about this a little bit. Where do you see yourself in the conversation right now? Like, is it even arguable any other way that right now, like not over 2 years time, not like power rankings of like right now, this season, you are the best?
I think if you're like, it depends on how you look at it. Wins are very important.
Mm-hmm.
Wins are extremely important. But consistency is also very important. Now, like you can look at like AB, he had his 3 wins super early on in the season. But then he's kind of had a couple tournaments in a row now where he's finished pretty bad. I know he just had a really rough finish this weekend. My worst finish is 13th, and that was just because I threw one stupid shot. Other than that, I'd be in the top 10 all year. But you know, I don't know, because like you can look at it multiple ways. You know, not too long ago, I got second at DDO just a couple weekends before this tournament, and then I obviously got the win at Portland.
And second, and second at
Yeah.
Lone Star Disc event in Texas. I mean, you're averaging 5th. It's hard to argue.
Yeah, and then I have both the Elite Pluses, which are 4-round tournaments, harder to win, a little bit higher stakes as well. You know, I'm leading Pro Tour points by 120 points right now, so that feels amazing. I don't know. I'd say it's really close all at the top. You can pretty much make an argument for everybody. I'd say if you're going over the last couple weeks, it definitely could be me. Calvin's also been extremely hot with back-to-back wins, and then he just had a pretty solid finish here too. So, I mean, Calvin, AB, and I are definitely like, I think your top 3 right now.
That's the numbers I would give too, but I would lean towards you, and I don't think that's biased. I think that's based off of performance and consistency all around. If AB, and you don't have to but if AB the last 4 weeks or 3 weeks didn't continually place worse, I'm not saying he's washed up, he's done, his season's over, But my point is, like, had he not done that, and let's just say he had finished top 10s or top 15s, it'd be a lot tougher conversation for me. But congratulations, man. Your season's going strong. It's going well. There's a lot going right for you. What's it going to take? Is this the season? This isn't a jinx. Is this the season for a world champion title or another major? Or, like, what do you think, man?
Oh, gosh, I want it so bad. It feels so impossible. Just thinking about it, because it's almost like in my opinion, like, it's just like wins aren't lucky, but it's lucky that you picked a good weekend for your game to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's so random. It's not specific.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are able to, like, turn up in those situations, but, like, for me, I give it my best every single weekend. Every weekend I'm trying to win. And so, I won this weekend. My game was good. It was lucky that my game decided to be good on both the Elite Pluses so far. And then it was unlucky. My game didn't feel that good sometimes at, Champions Cup. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the fact that I think we're playing on a golf course for Worlds. I think that'll help me score a little bit better. But I also heard that the wooded course at Worlds is like, it's not necessarily like tight gaps, but it's like you're in the woods with wider fairways, which I really enjoy that kind of disc golf. So I think if I have my bag dialed in and I'm just throwing really, really confidently, I think there's definitely a chance. I think the last 3 years I've been in the top 3 for scrambling. And so I think that's also important when you get in the woods. And then, just got to be putting good.
You're saying there's a chance, and I think that's very accurate. I made a pick 3 or 4 years ago, or whatever it was. I said, this kid's going to win multiple world titles, so don't let me down.
I'll try my best.
Evan goes, you're wrong to this point, Matt. And I was like, yeah, but he's only 18. So, all right. Here we go. Anything you want to shout out, or before we let you go? We try not to make these super long interviews anymore for both your sake and everybody else's sake, but you provided some good information. Anything else we missed?
No, just thanks to the Radalin family for having me this week.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Me and Cole went 1 and 2, so that's pretty cool. Definitely thank you to Discmania. It's been an awesome season so far, and they've been working with me day in and day out, and so it's been awesome to see the support. It's been a great partnership so far. Be on the lookout for some Ganon discs very soon. Thank you to Squatch Disc Golf Bags. Also something in the works. So toward this mid part of the year, we're gonna have a lot of stuff dropping. So be on the lookout for that. That should be out hopefully a couple months maybe. And my other sponsors, Chump Chalk Bags, Titan Disc Golf. Oh gosh, I'm brain farting.
All of my favorite sponsors.
Double G, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Double G Jerky. And I think that's all. I feel bad if I'm forgetting one, but just thank you everybody who supported me.
Awesome. Yeah. Cole, if you can hear me, still looking for it. He'll swing by. I think we have plans. Right? You're coming to stay at my house again, right? Just confirming.
I'm planning on it.
Okay, planning on it. It's all right if you don't.
Make sure that electric cord's in the driveway. I'll pull right up.
I upgraded the cord because I realized that cord wasn't able to handle the amperage on top of it. So we'll have a better situation all around.
Heck yeah, that sounds awesome.
Cole Graywater Radalin.
What?
Oh, no.
All right. Good. Now we're going to kick you guys off because we're actually making picks that involve you, maybe. I wonder if you want to sit in the green room.
Hey, I did pick you again, and I'll spoil it. I picked you for BSF, so.
Who's going to pop off this week for MPO?
Drew Gibson.
Wait, to be clear, just so he gets the rules. We're talking average finishes. So like a player who's averaging like right now 40th place, but they somehow pop off and get like 15th, that's a lot of points because that's like, so who's popping off? It could be Cole.
Fresnel is going to pop off.
He is?
He got a decent average, so he would have to be
finished
over
second
25?
yesterday.
Oh, dang. I almost
last
picked him to
year.
Not
drop.
yesterday.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, wait, I
last
think Cole
year
did.
at BSF. I'm sorry.
I almost picked him to drop. If Gannon's saying pop, I hope I didn't pick him. I forget.
Oh, that'd be bad.
I gotta switch it out, man. So
All
that's
right,
the game.
who's gonna drop?
Yeah,
Who's got a
averaging
great
really
average
well?
and who's gonna suck?
Poor Don.
Oh,
Cole, you are
I picked myself.
yeah, you are.
Oh,
Let's see, Cole, you're averaging an 18th place finish. So to drop, you're gonna have to get us a lot of points on a drop. You're gonna have to be like
that'd be pretty
30th
bad.
outside of 30.
I'd feel awful about a worse than 20th place. That's like my
Okay.
home. So
I'm not gonna say who I would draw, but that's just disrespectful.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think some people picked you for our position called lock, which means they think you're going to get a top 10 for sure, which sounds easy, but the higher you go up in that top 10, if you get a first place, you get a lot of points. So they're picking you to
here's
win.
the thing, Ganon. You are actually a great player to pick to drop because your average finish is so high.
It's
That's
actually
Yeah, but he
true.
hasn't
That's actually a
been
good
he hasn't
point.
been dropping though.
But he hasn't been dropping. It's true. It's very safe drop pick because I don't see him always going
'Cause
higher than
yeah,
fifth,
you only
but-
lose 5 points if you come in first.
All right.
Yeah, everyone pick me for drop, please.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to give stats at the end of the year. How many times a player was picked for pop? Because that means they're not like a consistent player, but they're someone who can play well. So anyway,
Yeah, that's interesting.
it is interesting. We're going to have to figure out because all right, there's a disc. You're selling it?
Is
No,
your red DD3 a new Discmania or is that from like older run, the red DD3 bomber?
That is our new stuff. When they were
That's what it
with
looked
Innova,
like.
they didn't make any C. Yeah, they didn't make any C line D3s
Okay.
when they were working with Innova.
Okay, I didn't know that. Good to know.
All right.
Yep.
Without further ado, we'll let you guys go. We appreciate your time. We're on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast, and I'm hungry, but
Good night.
it's late. Good night. Yeah, good night. We'll talk to you again another time.
See you later.
I'm sure you'll have some other good
All right.
storylines. Bye. All right. Gannon and Cole. Awesome. That's great to see. Dude, disc golf is so unique. You have literally, and I'm arguing this, right now in the sport, this season, the best player in the world for disc golf. There's like hanging out at their friend's house. Like, it's just like, let's go out and play disc golf in the backyard. Like, it's just where we're at right now. So,
Yes.
everyone's like, yeah, that's a good take, Matt.
I
Okay.
was
We
like,
can bring
I was
everybody
shaking
down.
my
Look,
head like
it's
how
fine.
true it is.
That is where it's at, but there's probably stories of like
Trying.
some of the top athletes in other sports who are friends who are also just hanging
True.
out.
But I don't
Right.
think it's at like their parents' house, like at like Cole's parents. You know what I
Like
mean?
Jason
maybe
Tatum
not.
and
It's probably
Jaylen
their own
Brown.
house.
Maybe only because they're making millions of dollars, but some of them are young. Like I just think we might be also surprised if
Yeah.
we had the same
It's
level
true.
of access to some of them that we have access to these.
It's
pros.
true.
But then again, their agent probably wouldn't have them sit up and have a phone sitting in in the house. So
All right, we're gonna get into the
Pop,
second,
lock, drop.
not
Yeah.
a second edition, the second half of Pop Drop Lock Hooligan Disc.
Where's Evan?
Yeah, why isn't it 5-up? Go back to 5-up.
Yeah, 5-up's been tweaking today.
So you're in 5-up. There should be a button here to get into that scene. Do I have to hit it again?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Back to the music.
I get,
Okay, no music. He doesn't have the music version. That's perfect.
Okay.
So it should work here. There we go. So let's get into the picks. I will shout out Hooligan Disc once again, this time actually saying
Hell
that
yeah.
they have their 2-year anniversary drop coming up soon. I was told I'm welcome to hint at it, but they'll probably do an official announcement in a week or two and probably give away something cool. So that was the most unprofessional way to drop a hint.
it's their best disc of all time.
Oh, all right. Well, there's the
Ben,
hint.
you've said about every single disc they've come out with.
No, this one's
Dude, they're
actually the
one-upping
best.
themselves.
They're cash, right? That's
Yes,
awesome. Okay,
exactly.
we love their
Cash,
hats.
baby, cash.
Oh, we've switched hats a few times tonight, but Hooligan hats are actually very incredible. My favorite.
So
hat.
I'm gonna just rant for 30 seconds really quick. But
Oh, boy.
this is what I want to see in disc golf because every single pro has a YouTube channel now. Every single content creator that's an up and coming disc golfer, everyone's got YouTube channels now. People get sent discs and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, this disc is so incredible!" And they threw like one shot with it.
They're
It's
all
like,
the same, pretty much.
everyone is the same review. Like I genuinely like I won't shy away for like if Discraft comes out with a new disc. If it just does not jive with me, I'm not going to say how great that disc is. It might be great for
Oh,
other
okay,
people.
but you're not going to come out and say
but-
this disc sucks. Like you'll just not say how
I'll
good
say,
it is.
I'll say for me, this disc sucks. Like when Innova came out with the Juggernaut, and they came out with like a Halo Juggernaut, if I was to get that and throw it, and it would literally go 150 feet from me, and I would be like, this disc serves no purpose in my life, and it sucks to me.
Is it too overstable or
should
too
be like-
understable?
No, I think the Juggernaut's like a wicked overstable disc.
Instead of
So
saying
it's
it
like I can
sucks
just
for-
throw a destroyer or something like
Yeah,
that,
and
and
since
serve
you have a noodle
purpose
arm-
of a legitimate
Yeah.
flight.
Yeah.
But-
Instead of you saying that disc sucks for you, you should probably say like, I suck for that disc.
But it's not even that. It's more like for people that aren't sponsored to just like give an honest review on the disc. Like seriously, and just say
Cash
like,
is
you
the
know what,
best
like,
disc I've ever
it
felt and thrown.
flies just like another disc, and so that's just what I want to see. I want to see more honesty in the sport.
Ben, pretty much
Ben's telling
Nick
the
has
truth.
beef with you.
No.
You need to duke it out on
No.
a
Dude,
is
collab
the beef
YouTube
coming
I'm
out?
saying-
The
video.
disc called
Okay,
the beef.
go to Simon's vlog that I was in. I threw the cash twice. I'm not lying. I throw the cash. It's just what I do. It's just like
what I
it's
do.
my
I do
favorite
remember you
approach
saying
putter.
it was a cash, and then
Yeah.
Simon had said something. You were like, "Oh no, it's a disc name."
Yeah, it's
But for some
literally my
reason I
favorite
thought-
approach putter. It's what I use as my P3X AVR X3. It's what I use.
All right,
You shot
Nick,
like
your
8
your
down
picks
that
are coming
round, so
up, Nick.
obviously, it was great.
Tell us about your
I wish I
picks.
could kept
So-
up.
This is the Beaver
Pop
State
off.
Picture on
Flame.
the screen.
Yes, pop off for the FPO side. Maria Oliva. I think this course is actually very suitable for her as long as her mental game is in it. I think she'll do great. Anakin Sten for my drop, and the only reason is just hopefully get some points out of it.
Rolling
And then
the
Owen
dice.
Scoggins
Hedging.
for my lock, because I think I have a few more picks with Owen, and I'm kind of teetering with like all my other picks where they're getting close to 5 of them. It's kind of tough to pick FPO winners. But Carter Aarons for MPO Pop. He popped off last year and almost popped off here at Portland Open. I think this will be a good event for him.
He did.
Drop.
He popped off
he
enough.
almost.
20
Yeah.
points is pretty good.
Exactly, but like I think
But
he
his
missed
average
the
was
cut
like
by 1 or
70th.
2. Like
Yeah.
almost popped off. Anyways, Calvin Heimberg for drop. That's legitimately just on points. I actually think this course super fits.
He's hedging.
Wait, why do I?
He's
have him-
hedging his bets.
Did I put it in wrong?
Nah, you
Why is-
you put it in wrong.
All right,
Okay.
give me what it is. The on screen doesn't matter.
I
He
gotta
sent
look
me
at.
it
I was gonna say. I
officially.
was like, what the heck? Oh, Ganon Burr's my lock,
Okay. Good.
and that's just because I think Ganon Burr is really good right now. Me and my buddies were saying we're like Ganon Burr is so freaking good right now. It's insane. We've said the same thing about like AB and stuff like that, but Ganon just like looked really good out there this weekend.
He's pretty good.
So officially, Nick's lock is Ganon. That's my typo bad.
Yes.
We were trying to do that mid-show.
I was gonna say, I'm like, did I do that?
No, it was mid-show. I'm trying to
Yeah.
do it during the interviews. Okay,
Yep, my bad.
here we go. Eagle McMahon, my pop, and Eagle McMahon, my lock.
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Bring it home, baby.
I don't know the point update either, Josh. Like, am I hedging too much here where
That's
people
what
are
I
going
like
to catch
to
up?
hear.
Well, I mean, yeah, let's see. Right now, Ben is 79 points behind you.
Oh, so yeah, if this goes bad, I don't know what Ben's picks are. But yeah, I'm picking Eagle. And I
You
know
know
we
one
don't
of
have to
my picks.
reaccount every single pick here. But I feel like the glimmer we saw is enough to tell me Beaver State, one of his favorite places of all time, favorite courses, is enough to say that he's going to perform, I think good. I think he is. So anyways, there's that. AB, I'm picking to drop. Is this the most outrageous thing compared to the first?
No, he did. If you picked him to
He's
drop last
trending.
event, it was like
Oh,
so
massive.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's such a weird final round.
go
Like,
back
you
to
really
back,
think that's
though.
going to keep
Yeah.
happening? I don't know.
But I just feel like I don't think he's going to go that far. Like he's not going to do his
We'll find out.
44th place. I don't think. But I do think based off of his 10th place average, he's trending that way over the last 4 events. So it could be a bad choice, but I'm going with it. It's kind of trying to just figure out a lot of points here. And then Pop Allie Smith, she performed here well before, and she's performing below what I think her expectations are for this year. Luca, I can't believe it. She's my Pop Player of the Year. I'm just picking her to drop. That means she's doing pretty good, but I think she's going to underperform. And then Holland Handley for my lock. That's a no-brainer for me. And you can only pick so many players so many times, so I'm kind of changing that up too. All right, going over to Ben. What do you got, Ben?
All right. I haven't changed my pop in like 7 weeks.
Matt, okay, I was just going to ask you about Madison Walker because we need to review last week's picks real quick. You
Yes.
picked Madison Walker again,
Yes.
and what happened?
She got her average.
I told
And it was
you it's
another
not-
0 points.
It's not an
I'm
easy
used to
pick,
it.
though. Yeah, but you
I'm
can be
used to Madison Walker giving me 0 points. So it's fine. And I'll keep picking her. And so much so that Madison Walker is now aware of the fandom our show has for picking her.
Is she?
Yeah, she's aware. And the fans, there's a little fan base. Like when she popped up, there were 70 people that picked Madison Walker.
Madison quotes Ben's favorite pop, end quote, Walker.
Yes, exactly. So I'm just saying the fans, and I got tagged in a bunch of Madison Walker stuff when she went off. So
I derailed you. Strong. I derailed you for the Beaver State fling picks, but I had to bring up Madison because it was a wash. Good job, though. All right, here we go.
So picks. Drew Gibson, I mean, my pops have been the same for like the past 8 events, it feels like. Drew Gibson, Madison Walker. Drop, I am switching up. It's pretty much always been Luke Humphreys. I'm going Andrew Marweed just because he has a really high finish. And then drop Missy Ganning again. She's like 6th, and I'm playing it safe. Odds? I'm playing it safe. I'm gonna win because I play it safe. Locking, I'm gonna get Ganon Burr and Holland Hanley.
Oh, we picked Holland. There you go.
Yeah, because they're superstars.
All right, Josh, what do you got?
Hey, by the way, like that'll be Ben's last time picking Holland all season.
Oh, so. Dang! I already picked her 5 times.
That was your 5th.
Sheesh.
It's over now.
My picks: Paul Macbeth, Anthony Barella for drop. So there you go, Matt. Right.
I'm also curious about trends and how we pick. Because I feel like you pick Paul fairly often, and since the first round Champions Cup till now, but you're not doing horrible. So like, I'm just interested in how that.
I've only picked him once to win, but yeah, Pop. Well, that's just because how he started the season. I mean, come on, like. Pop, he's a great pick.
All right, so AB to drop. We both
and then AB. And by the way, the strategy with AB is like kind of like we said. It's like even if he wins, I only lose like a handful of points. All right, and then Ricky to win. Pop for FPO, Cynthia Ricciardi, drop Lisa Fakis, who I just tried last week. It didn't work, but anyway.
Last week.
And then Holland Hanley.
So Cynthia's averaging 30th. So a pop there is going to be anything over 30th. I feel like that's a good pick.
I tried picking Cynthia before, and she's got me negative points.
Yeah.
Like,
well, we're going to find
out.
She did well last event.
Can we figure this out?
Lisa Fake is 15th. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, good picks. And then finally, Evan. We're going to pull up Evan's picks, which we know 2 of them. But
wait, but he already broke the streak, so he's still going with me?
Back to it.
This is
Matt,
automated.
Feelings.
When we actually have an episode, it automates whatever Ben picks. So, like for Evan. There you
go. That's why we got to have episodes every week. When we don't, all things go down.
Yep.
But Matt, I feel similarly. Eagle, Pop, and Lock.
Let's go.
Eagle Pop, like sneaky. Wow. He just played his 3rd event, so now he is now on the Pop possibilities for the season, and that Champions Cup. Definitely holding him down for the average. But we, of course, like him here. I mean, won last year. The last time he played Beaver State Fling before that, 2019, guess what? He won. Last time he played Beaver State Fling before that, 2018, guess what? He won. So he's on 3 straight wins by events he's played at Beaver State Fling. So you're going to like that. Also 3rd in 2017, 9th in 2016. And then, got to go all the way back to 2015 where we see a 23rd. Oh, no. So, he hasn't played here every year, but those are
or
pretty
with
good
MVP
finishes.
Dis.
And he is, I mean, please.
None of those years also had a completely ripped out shoulder.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's looking good. I think things are back to normal. Champions Cup was like that's a tough first event to play out in Northwood. Like you can't blame him for that bad finish. Like first event, get the rust off. Now he's cooking. So I'm loving it this week. I think Matt, we're going to get some big
fun
points.
fact for this is the first week this year that we could pick Eagle in this game for a pop.
That's what I led with.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree.
Awesome.
I also play a game within the game where I try to guess what Ben's pops picks were. I went 2 for 2. I have it on the website already as Drew Gibson and Madison Walker. Too easy, Ben. I actually
Evan, you
really,
picked it
really
last year. Last week you didn't get it right.
No, he
really scared that you were going to pick Eagle. Oh my goodness, why can't I say his name?
Eagle
McMahon as your pop, and I was just going to have a trifecta of Eagle.
Dude, now I might switch to Eagle. Who knows?
Out of the 5,
we already have the show. Those are rules.
Wait, the show's not over yet. I could switch.
They're submitted.
I'm not switching.
Out of the 5 of us, who is the best running on the season of picking the winners, picking locks?
Oh, do you have that stat, or is this just a conversation?
Yeah,
it's Josh.
I've been good, but I don't think it's me.
I might
It's
have
Nick.
picked 1 or 2 winners.
Nick?
That's it.
It's Nick.
Nick.
Whoa.
Oh, Nick was cooking early in the year.
He's earned the most
said
points on his
me,
lock
but I was
picks.
like, I'm doing so bad in all my other points that it can't be me. But
Right, he's
locks
fourth.
it
He's
actually-
fourth ranked out of all of us season running score, but he is the best.
I was
at
second
picking
place by
locks.
like 2 points for a
So
while.
just pick,
and then-
follow
Wow.
whoever Nick picks to win, and then steer away from everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. To quickly wrap up my picks, Danny Clyden, I mean, she's been steadily improving, was in the 40s to start the season, on the 30s, and now up into 20s. She's averaging 33rd, but her recent finish has been now in the 20s. She's played well here in the past. So I like it. It's a little bit of a safe, little safe pop pick. Like, yeah, I can hopefully get like 10, 15 points. And then Kat Mersch, feeling good. She's been hot lately. Ben, this is your lock pick. I'm
Last
surprised
year-
you didn't pick her here. I was
Last
really
year,
surprised.
that was my pick for. That's
So
when I could
like
just
to hear.
give crazy takes and hopefully they
Yeah.
stack.
Well, I don't think it's crazy. She's been great lately. I think back-to-back top fives. Likes Beaver State Fling. I think 6th last year. So I think this is a good pick. And with Paige Pierce not in the scene, Kristen Tatar not, Evelina Salen and Hemel Blommers, like we have the good Americans here, which that almost sounds like bad. I didn't mean it that way. But we have lots of good players here still, but
I'm
we do have lots
definitely
of good
clipping
players.
that
We
one.
have the good
Viral.
Americans.
PDGA Stat
Oh,
Bando
we-
says no.
The good American. I mean, hey, I think
We
it's all
obviously know, but it's fun to have a typo out loud, which is a blooper
positive.
or
Sure.
whatever.
I don't know if it was a typo as far as
Wait,
just,
what
like,
happened to
didn't
your
sound the
Emily
most
Beach?
right.
Okay.
Okay,
his
that
good
I felt bad about. That was I don't want to repeat
I'm saying,
that.
well, where is she at? Where's she at?
She's not playing.
Oh,
right
okay.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Evan, you were out for a little bit during the interviews. You're back. You brought your takes here, or your picks here. There's a few other cool things you'd like to share, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. What do you got, man?
Yeah, sure. I love doing the recap in the beginning of the episode, and of course the Elite Series events or majors when they come around take the front and center. But there's other things happening around the world of disc golf that I think people will find interesting. So I just wanted to quickly give some time to go over that. I mean, there was a Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver event out in Norway. That's of course the European Silver events, and this one was interesting. Silva Sarnen gets her first DGPT Silver win. She won 5 Euro Tours last year. So now continuing her streak of getting some good wins over in Europe. And then an MPO, an interesting one was Clay Edwards, who was an American over there. He played the Copenhagen Open. Looks like he stuck around in Europe. And I mean, maybe he came back for it. I'm not sure exactly, but he gets a pretty big 9-stroke victory over Silver Lott and Lori Lettinen. There's also the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour, which is kind of the national tour of Finland, if you can say that. I don't know if it's officially that or how it shakes out, but a tour around Finland. And we had Oni Arminen, who made a name for himself at the European Open last year. He gets his first PDPT win of his career. And then in FPO, I need Essa back on to get me the pronunciations here, but I think it's Hanale Mata. 3 A's with an umlaut. I don't know if that's how you say it in Finnish, but I know at least German they call it umlauts, I believe. 3 A's with 2 dots above in the last name. So I hope I got it right. But she gets her first Prodigy Disc Pro Tour win. She has had Euro Tour wins in the past, all the way back from, I believe it was 2013 and 2015. So pretty interesting that she's back winning events, which is really cool to see. And then there's a couple state championships that I found interesting. The New Jersey State Championship. Michael Johansson wins an MPO. And then an FPO, Michelle Gallagher beats Eliezra Midling. The young up-and-coming star was over in New Jersey instead of the Portland Open, almost winning the New Jersey State Championships. And then there's also the Tennessee State Championships, and a familiar face, Chris Dickerson, wins that event. He won it by 8 strokes over Grady Shue, and it included an 18 down in round 2, although I think it was just in the 1070s. 1071 is the unofficial rating, but still an 18 down is incredible no matter the course. And then Cadence Burge wins an FPO by 5 strokes over Hannah Manis, and then Paige Shue in 3rd place. So that's what I found interesting. Hope you did as well. And that's all I got.
Absolutely. You brought up name pronunciation. I don't know if you caught the interview with Sophia. She told us how to pronounce it. Did you catch that?
Yes, I was listening to pretty much all of it. Donica is what she said.
She said if you're going to say it American English, it's Donica.
Yeah, there's not a way to do it in English. That's always so hard for me to learn. I mean, English only type of guy should expand my languages, but it's hard at this age, you know.
Donica. Well, I mean, Dr. D, Dr. Donica, like Doctor, incredible. I enjoyed that interview. I wish we had time for everybody. We could go back to our original episodes, Nick, with the Nick and Matt show, when we bring in a guest and we would talk for like an
I wanted to talk
hour.
to her. I think she's like, she has running in her history too. If you just look at her Instagram,
Yeah,
she's a
so-
runner.
she's
Maybe we can do a
mountain
special
climbing.
episode.
I got to
My,
dive into all this.
My brother's a doctor in chemistry, and he actually lives out in Oregon. And but I call him Dr. Alexander whenever he's in town. I always say, like, my kids will call you Dr. Alex instead of Uncle Alex. Like, you know,
Sure.
when we're at a restaurant, I'm like, oh no, he's a doctor, don't worry. And it's funny.
What about your cousin,
Which one?
James?
James?
Nick
Carl's cousin.
Yeah.
James is just a doctor in happiness. Dude, like, I've never seen a
Doctor of
frown on his face.
happiness.
He's the man.
I just posted a new YouTube video with him, and
I did see that. I need to watch it.
We
It's
mentioned
YouTube
you a
video of
lot.
Nick Carl's cousin. Yeah. James is the man. It's funny when you guys would call him Jimmy. I've literally none of us ever called him Jimmy growing up, and so when you started saying, I'm like, who the hell is he talking about?
Who's Jimmy?
Yeah, we
He's
just
a lot
never
of
called him
names.
that. So.
Nick, but throwback, man. You get to close out the show. It's been a little bit. We didn't even have a show
know.
last week.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in on this wonderful Monday night. We appreciate you all and love you all very, very much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to keep bringing you guys some awesome content. Check us out on all your favorite podcast platforms. Tell someone you love them this week. We'll catch you in the next one.
That's right, everybody. It's crazy when we go a week off. It feels like forever. So, I mean, a lot of stuff happening.
Oh, shout out Nate Doss.
Shout out Nate
Over
Doss.
State
I
Police.
know, nobody picked him.
Shout out Nate Doss.
Well, you could
I
pick
should have
him
picked
the
him the
lock.
lock.
You could
I
pick
should've
him the
Scared to pick my
lock.
lock.
It would be
But
pretty
Nate
cool.
Doss playing his first Elite Series event since 2018.
He's my lock.
Some incredible stats that don't have the time to say this show. Maybe next episode.
We'll say
Or
it
look
after the
online.
fact.
All right, everybody. Until next week, Ben, you're awesome. Josh, Evan, and Nick, you're awesome. Peace out, everybody.
Later.